Welcome back to another episode of the Unknown Sports Podcast. My name is AJ Musser. Joined with me, as usual, is Hunter, Harris, and Austin Fyffe. Guys, huge day. It's a big day.
It's
massive
a big day.
It's a massive day. And do you guys know why?
No.
Austin, give me your reason as to why you think today is a massive day, dude.
I have no idea.
Okay, Hunter?
Because we beat Iran and terrorism in the same day. Yesterday.
Absolutely not, dude. Spotify Wrapped is here, dude.
Oh.
It is a big day.
It is a massive day.
Big day.
So,
And it caught
Hunter,
me off
what's your-
guard. I was not ready for it.
I know, dude. What's your top three?
Artists that you guys wouldn't know? Listeners
Yep.
wouldn't know?
That's all right. Throw them out there.
All right.
I honestly haven't even looked at mine.
It's, let's see here.
Austin, if only we were doing this live on YouTube, I'd make you do it live on YouTube.
All right. Number one, we got West Side Gun. Love that guy. Alchemist, producer. And Boldy James, another rapper as well. Drake as well makes up four. So there's somebody that everybody actually knows.
All right. Mine was the Beatles, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I don't remember who the third one was. Might have been
Lady
Taylor
Gaga?
Swift. No, it would have been Taylor Swift over Lady Gaga for sure. But
Have you been
Yeah, that
listening to
was-
a lot of T Swift lately?
yeah, I like that new album a lot. It's really, really good. You know what else I like a lot? Is beer. We're going to try one today. ESB. Ooh.
Let me
the
go
light
get it
doesn't
from my
really help me.
fridge. I forgot to grab it.
Oh my gosh, such an unprofessional. All right, here's our chance, Austin. He's walking away. We talk about him.
We already found out he's a speakerphone guy today. I don't think anything else needs to be said, really.
Yeah, I want to know public opinion on what do we think of people who always talk on the phone on speakerphone? Like, I can't stand those people. Hold the phone up to your head and talk. And if you need your hands for something, you know, that's one thing. But like, if you're just sitting there having a conversation with your phone in front of your mouth, and I have to listen to your conversation, shut it down. But it's an English style ale. Not sure what the ESB stands for, but Perennial Artisan Ales. Is that the brewery?
Austin, what do we think ESB stands for? Look at
Mhm.
this and tell me what it stands for.
Can I guess?
Extraterrestrial
Beer.
sonic booms.
Okay.
I just think it means English style beer.
Well, that is not fun. Way to ruin it with your correctness.
I don't even know if it's correct. I have no idea. Austin's drinking Truly tonight. What kind of Truly are you drinking, Austin?
Lemonade.
That's got to be refreshing.
very refreshing.
Do you guys have any Boulevard products over there, Austin? Because if you do, you should try
I
the
don't-
Quirks. They're great.
I drank 2 quirks the other night. Saturday night.
ESB in craft beers traditionally stands for extra special bitter.
So you're telling me that this beautiful pour is going to be extra special? That's the best pour in a while, Hunter.
Yeah,
It
it
just
is.
took me to pull out the Unknown Sports Podcast mug to get it right.
The part that's hard about breaking out the Unknown Sports Podcast cup is you have to hand clean it because of the stickers. You can't put it in the dishwasher. So I'm very selective on when I bring it out because I'm lazy.
Yeah, because if you wash it in the dishwasher, it ends up like mine and you lose your name and you just become a hoe.
What letters to stick, though? At least you got some good luck there.
I think I might have peeled one off, but we'll go with it. We won't tell the listeners.
Yeah, where's the L and the E at the end?
Oh, ale. Nice.
You had to think about that one.
I did have to. That was clever. Nice job.
Mm.
Kudos to you. Let's talk a little bit today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk, because we took last week off for Thanksgiving. Hope all the listeners had a great Thanksgiving with your families or whoever you spend it with. If you spend it alone, I hope you enjoyed your solemnness. But we're going to talk the playoff schedule and not schedules, but the
Picture.
playoff layout currently.
Picture.
Playoff picture. That's right. We're going to Bob Ross it. We're going to paint a
Landscape.
picture. We're gonna check it out. Landscape and picture, Bob Ross. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter's on it today. But let's dive into that. But first, Hunter, do you have any news for us?
I haven't been throwing that in a couple weeks. I don't have any news. I'm not prepared with any sort of quick whips or anything like that this week.
That's normal.
Deshaun Watson's back. Let's talk about that because we're not discussing any Browns games. Does this make him completely clean of everything he did?
Okay, we can say no, and I think we can move on. Definitely not. Austin, is there any real news out there?
Aaron Rodgers was hurt, but is going to play this week.
Warrior.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he is approaching Big Ben territory of loving to tell everyone about his injuries, even though they are allegedly not affecting his play. It is becoming an annual thing, and now it's like 2 or 3 different ones this year.
He'll be the first to tell you that it won't affect his play, but then also be the first one to remind you that he has it.
Right.
Yeah.
Likes
that's
to do
what
both.
Austin's getting at.
Yeah. Annoying.
Big have my cake and eat it too kind of guy.
Darnell Mooney also out for the season now.
Who cares?
Everyone on the Chicago Bears is out for the year.
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson, Darnell Mooney, a few other players with a concussion. But hey, we didn't have to watch the Bears game because Trevor Siemian played and Justin Fields didn't. So
yeah, you're right.
That was a fun moment Sunday morning. Who's playing quarterback for the Bears? It was 3 quarterbacks very quickly that we cycled through.
Well, we knew Fields wasn't, and then it was Simeon,
no, we didn't.
And then
we didn't. No, we didn't.
He warmed up.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He warmed up in pads. They finally pulled the plug on it. Then it was Trevor Siemian, and then Trevor Siemian got hurt in warmups, and then it was going to be Nathan Peterman, and then it was back to Trevor Siemian because I don't know if you guys saw this after the game. It was kind of circulating on Twitter. They asked him why he played after hurting himself, and it was the most relatable thing of all time. And he goes, "Yeah, it was just really embarrassing to see you got hurt in warmups, so I just decided to suck it up and go play." Like, yep, that totally checks out.
Being a backup quarterback and, your one job being able to step in for the starter and then you get hurt in warm-ups. His agent probably got him on the phone real quick and he said, "You realize your career's almost over if you do this?"
Right.
I'm getting back out there.
All right, let's get going on the current playoff picture. Let's start AFC. Because we'll save the NFC and the Packers situation for a little bit. But so starting out, current AFC playoff picture looks like Kansas City at the 1 seed right now at 9-2. The Miami Dolphins would be the 2 seed with the tiebreaker over Buffalo. Tennessee at 7-4 as the 3 seed, and Baltimore at the 4 seed at 7-4 as well. But then we go to the wild cards. We would get the Buffalo Bills at 8-3, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New York Jets. Thoughts on any of those teams off the top of your head? The AFC East. Yeah, AFC East, though, before Thanksgiving, they were all in the playoffs.
Yep. I believe through the Dallas games, everyone from both East divisions were in the playoffs currently.
I think you're right on that.
Both the AFC and NFC.
How big was that Cincinnati win last week for Cincinnati? Like massive, and for the playoff picture in general.
Yeah, it was really big, but I think what's kind of getting lost is that if you look it out, Cincinnati's doing exactly what they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like exactly, including a game this week. Look ahead there to a game with Kansas City that kind of puts them on the map, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're for real."
Yeah, and we will discuss that game later in the podcast. Teams just on the outskirts, the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Chargers, both 6-5. And then if we were going to take a step below that, we have
No need.
Yeah, I know. We have 4 teams that are at 4-7, still mathematically still in it, but long shots to make it, being the Indianapolis Colts, Jaguars, the Las Vegas Raiders somehow aren't eliminated yet, and the Cleveland Browns, which they shouldn't be allowed to anyway. And the Steelers, who are also 4-7, but we don't need to talk about any of those
let's be realistic here on the playoff picture. Teams that can actually push into this playoff picture that are not in it currently. The Los Angeles Chargers, are they for real? What's the schedule look like the rest of the season, though? Because I don't care whether they're for real or not, Austin. If they have an easy enough schedule, they might sneak in.
So their schedule the rest of the way, they've got Vegas, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Colts, the Rams, and the Broncos. So what? That's
a lot of losing teams.
Yeah, but also
5-1, though.
Yeah.
You got to get to 11 wins in the AFC. I think.
Okay. Does that apply to what about teams like the Patriots and the Jets, though, that they could kick out?
I'm looking at the Jets right now. The Jets have the Vikings, the Bills, the Lions, Jacksonville, Seattle, and Miami. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 playoff teams left to go. So
New England
really
has
have much of a cakewalk.
New England has the hardest out of the entire group.
Yeah,
sure.
New England has 2 against Buffalo, Miami, the Bengals, the Cardinals, and the Raiders. And that Cardinals game is on the road on Monday night, all the way across the country.
Best case scenario, they win 2 games the rest of the way. Let's be honest.
Hopefully that Patriots Raiders game gets flexed out. That's a Sunday night game.
Oh, please. Yes, we're in flex season. Oh, thank God.
But yeah, honestly, I think the Chargers seem like a team right now that's on the up and up, and the Jets are a team that's kind of in limbo right now because of their whole quarterback situation. Of are they going to go forward with Mike White? Are they going to
how could you not
struggle with Zach Wilson? I don't know. Like those 3 teams are to me the teams that are going to rotate for that last spot. I think Cincinnati will keep pushing and maybe even win their division because they're only a game back, or not even a half. They just have the Ravens have the head-to-head, so we'll see. Did they play one more time? Did we say that?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually week 18. So
I think
that'll be a big game too. I think all those teams from Cincinnati up make the playoffs.
I do think I agree with you. Yes, all those teams from Cincinnati up make the playoffs. Outside looking in, I think the Chargers will squeeze out the Jets there at some point just because of the schedule that they have going forward. But
are we sure Baltimore's going to make it?
Are we sure? Interesting. Give it to me. Why is this?
I mean, one, they blow every 10-point fourth quarter lead they've ever had. They are by far the worst second half team in the NFL. The Steelers always figure out a way to win at least one of those 2 games. There's a loss. Browns, Ravens, when the Browns have to have it at home. Bengals at home could potentially be for the division.
Yeah, the schedule the rest of the way for them is Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati.
The Falcons are feisty.
Yep.
If they have one
fighting for a playoff spot too.
Yeah, I'm like, if they have one slip up, I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, but that team, that is the worst second half team that I've seen in years. I mean, it makes no sense at all. They just quit playing.
Yeah, because you'd think that a team like them that wants to run the ball so much, if they had a lead in the second half, they could just coast.
Yeah.
And they can't do it.
Right. It's very strange. Is that a coaching problem?
They're my watch out team. That of all those teams that we think are for sure, Baltimore's the ones that I would put the most at risk.
Okay. Let's move on to NFC. I think there's a lot more fluctuation and fluidity in the NFC. Mark those off the vocab list real quick.
Well done.
Thank you. All right. Got that taken care of. All right. So let's start NFC. Number 1 seed right now is the Philadelphia Eagles at 10-1. 2, we've got the Minnesota Vikings. 3, the San Francisco 49ers. And then the 4 spot, being the NFC South leader right now, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-6. This is kind of like reminiscent of the year before the Seahawks were good and they made the playoffs, when that whole division, Beastquake, when the whole division ended under 500 and
7-9, baby.
make it by default. Yeah. The Cowboys are the 5 seed at 8-3. The Giants are the 6 seed at 7-4, and the Commanders are the 7 seed at 7-5. Outside looking in, the Seahawks are right there at 6-5. The Falcons are right there at 5-7, and then you drop to your 4-7 and 4-8 teams between the Lions, the Packers, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Saints. To me, in my opinion, Saints, Panthers, Cardinals are all pretty much dead. I don't like the Cardinals.
No, Nate, yeah,
definitely
they're
don't
all
think
dead.
the Panthers or the Saints are any good.
I'd throw in the Panthers, the Cardinals, Packers, and Lions too.
So that was going to be one of my questions I got to. I wasn't going to lead off with it, but since you mentioned it, you don't think that the Packers have any chance of making the playoffs?
I mean, we always have a chance. But I don't. We're 4-8, man. We can't lose the rest of the way.
Yeah, you have to. At worst, they have to go 5-1, and I mean they should beat the Bears
and we need
this
help.
weekend. They've got the Rams.
Get the
They
Dolphins,
still have
the
at
Vikings.
the Dolphins. They have the Vikings,
Which we win
and
that
they have
Vikings
the
game, by
Lions.
the way.
But yeah, more than likely. So
And
I mean,
you have the Lions.
but like
It's
Connor
plausible.
said, that's still Washington would have to go 2-4 the rest of the way or 2-3 the rest of the way.
But you look at that schedule and you say this team, and this team, we can beat those teams. But so far this season, we have no reason to believe that we can beat those teams at all.
So the
No,
rest
for
of the
sure.
way, Austin, the Washington team has the Giants in back-to-back games. I think they got a bye week in between.
Yeah.
Then they have the Niners. Then they have Cleveland, who's going to be hungry for a playoff spot if they are winning games with Watson. And then they have the Cowboys. So that is definitely a plausible outcome of them going 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, you also can flip it, and the Giants have looked like a really bad team the last couple of weeks. I mean, they haven't looked like what they did look like, and they've got
and Saquon's been hurt too.
They have Washington, and Washington has a bye in between those two Giants games. The Giants do not. They have the Eagles.
Yep. And
So-
then they
and
and
then
then
they go-
after their Washington series, you're right. They go Minnesota, Indianapolis, which is the
And
dud
then
at this
at
point.
Philly again, and
Yeah.
Philly is not. I don't care what it is. Philly is not just going to let the Giants into the playoffs. Ain't no
Uh-huh.
way.
No. Yeah, this NFC playoff picture is going to be really wild because I do think, honestly, if the Packers lose a game, that's when to me it's like, okay, I think they're probably done. But if they keep winning football games, I'm not going to mark them off the playoff list until then. Somehow the Lions are still even able to make the playoffs. Who do they play?
Yeah.
They've got Jacksonville, Minnesota, the Jets, the Panthers, the Bears, and the Packers in Week 18.
You can make the argument they have the softest schedule left, and they've been playing
Yeah.
really good ball.
Yeah, and that Minnesota game's a home game.
The problem is, I think Detroit's already hit their peak. Like, I don't think they're getting better than what
No.
they've shown the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I agree with that. But I think that if they stay at that peak and maintain that peak,
I don't know what about Dan Campbell showing you that he can sustain that level of play over the last 2 years.
all I've seen is his grit, and that'll carry that team as far as they need to go.
I just want to throw this out there because if you look at how all of it's working out, I just want this out there so we can be annoyed by it here soon. If you end up with Tampa winning that division, the NFC East beating the crap out of each other, Tom Brady is going to get a home game against one of those other NFC East teams.
Yep.
And then if there's one upset, he is going to get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And then this stupid freaking Bucks team is going to end up in the stupid NFC Championship game again, and we're going to have to hear about it.
And they're probably going to end up playing the Eagles, who we've talked about all year, Austin, as a team that could get beat by.
Which, if they can't run the ball, which is the only good part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, is their run defense, they look sketch as hell. So then all of a sudden, we have a close game in the NFC Championship game, and who are you taking? It's so frustrating. I was looking at it earlier, and it's like, this is all gonna freaking
frustrating,
shake
but
out.
here's I'll give you a little bit of encouragement here. The 49ers still exist. The 49ers
Very true.
are going to beat them in any scenario whenever they run across them.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't get slipped up somewhere else.
Exactly. So
I like.
But yes, head to head, I agree, Hunter.
I like your theory, Austin. I don't agree with it, but
No, I don't want my theory to be real.
no, I know you don't. I know you definitely don't want it to be real. I don't think it will come true, but because I don't think Tampa Bay's defense is that good against the run because the Browns just ran all over them. But Atlanta's schedule.
By the way, Ryan Jensen, their center, which is the worst part of Tampa Bay's offensive line, is allegedly supposed to start practicing this week. So
he is. How about
add
that?
that little nugget in. They're hopeful he can be back before the end of the regular season.
Atlanta's schedule the rest of the way. They have a bye week this week, and then they have Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Baltimore, Arizona, and Tampa in week 18. That week 18 game could be the division.
Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh's winnable, New Orleans is winnable. That'll be a gritty game though.
Yep.
Big rivalry between Atlanta and New Orleans.
Hey, and
Baltimore.
honestly, don't tear away New Orleans if Dennis Allen gets his head out of his butt and starts Jameis, because whatever the hell he thinks Andy Dalton is, I have no idea. But their only chance that team is to throw the ball deep to their good receivers, and Andy Dalton just will not do it.
No, there's a reason why Jameis is not playing quarterback for this team right now.
And what is it that? Because it's not that he's worse than Andy Dalton.
He is
Kamara.
worse than Andy Dalton. Are you kidding?
No, he's not.
Andy Dalton sucks, but Jameis is a net negative when you have him.
Who just watched Andy Dalton as their team's starting quarterback?
I understand that.
With a worse offensive line than the Saints do.
But he's playing game manager right now for them, and Jameis can't physically not do that. I agree. That's how bad Jameis Winston is. They put Jameis Winston in this game.
Dennis Allen's entire coaching career, he is Mr. Conservative. And with the roster that the Saints have built and everything that Sean Payton stood for is the exact opposite. That's why none of it's working.
They're not. I don't know why we're talking about this. Bucks are going to win this division.
Well, yeah, they are. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Outside looking in, Seahawks, Commanders, Giants. How do you see that shaking out?
I think Seattle has 2 against the Rams, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm pulling it up.
So that's 2. That gets them to 8. I think the NFC, you only have to get to 9.
I think
they've got the Rams this week, and they've got the Rams in week 18.
They do play the Chiefs at one point, and the Niners as well. But I think
but
Seattle is good enough
and
well coached enough to take care of business where they need to.
Yeah, Panthers at home, Jets at home, both really long travel scenarios.
Atlanta also without Kyle Pitts for the rest of the season. Correct. I think that kind of ends their playoff hopes as well. So we can kind of just stick a fork in them.
The team
I don't know. I don't think Arthur Blank
here,
knows he exists. So
the team that might fall out here, guys, is the Giants. They have Washington twice, which obviously those games could kind of go either way. They're very evenly matched teams in division.
Man, that'd be super unfortunate if me being the one that told you guys they weren't good, if they just ended the year on a 7-game slid. That would suck.
Won't be a 7-game slid.
For the Giants.
They play Indianapolis one of those weeks. But
hey, Jeff Saturday still exists, dude.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Also, we need I put this in the group chat. Got no love. We need a movie about this season of Jeff Saturday with Russell Crowe playing Jeff Saturday. Is there not a better fit? Come on.
Kevin James playing Sean Payton's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Of which, is that movie still being made?
No, it's done. It's been available to watch. You can watch it tonight if you'd like.
Well, I'm not going to.
Watch Party, Hunter.
But that's pretty much the playoff layout. We do think some things are going to change. Some teams are going to drop out. Bears aren't going to make it. Packers aren't going to make it. Browns aren't going to make it. Do we even do a playoff podcast? That laugh tells you all you need to know.
Honestly,
I'm just kidding. It was rhetorical. We don't even have to answer it.
Is anyone above Seattle alive?
No.
Or below Seattle, I'm sorry?
No. Look at the schedule for the rest of these teams. I don't see it. There has to be a complete 180 from one of these teams for them to sneak in.
All I need is the Rams to figure out how to win one more game for me. That's all I need.
Austin, if
Tankathon is on, dude.
If the Bucks do end up making the NFC Championship, we're gonna have to come back to this episode. One of us needs to write it down so we can clip that section of you ranting on what was
So
going to
annoying.
happen.
It's just so dumb.
Brady gets his 8th ring.
Yeah, because in the Super Bowl they're playing Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's elbow falls off, and then his elbow totally snaps, and then all he has to do is beat Case Keenum. It's crapping his pants.
Yeah, Vita Vea literally eats Josh Allen.
Oh God,
the greatest of all time. He just overcomes adversity every year.
I think
nothing ever falls in his favor.
You know what?
Ever.
I'm gonna say
he's
this
undefeated since he got a divorce. That's all I'm saying.
If that happens, all of that, including the Josh Allen elbow injury in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and Tom Brady wins with a game-winning touchdown drive in a game that ends like 13-10. I'm calling it. That's the end of the podcast. We will get on the podcast for a 5-minute "I told you so" of us just ranting the F-bomb and everything, and we'll sign off for the last time, and it'll be over.
Peace out, homies.
And there'll be a 30 for 30 documentary on us in 30 years.
Why weren't these guys better at gambling?
They knew everything.
Truly unknown sports podcast.
They knew everything, and the guy wearing the Packers hat lost consecutively every single week. I'm on like a 3-4 week now losing streak. It's terrible.
You know what that
even
means, right?
had a fade AJ parlay.
I need a fade AJ parlay. I didn't have it last week for Thanksgiving.
It hit week 11. It hit week 9. So it's hit 2 of the last 3 shows.
That's all right. As long as I'm making the listeners money somehow. If they listen,
you could have bet the Fade Hunter parlay last week.
If they'd have done the Fade AJ and Hunter parlay, they'd have made some real dough.
Yeah.
Honestly, we should. That's how we know Zach's not listening, is because he's not making a lot of money.
These guys are dumb. Take it the other way.
All right. Let's talk this week's games. We are in week. What week are we in?
12. Right?
12?
No, this is week 13.
Correct.
You wrote it on here wrong. Way to go.
You wrote it on there wrong. First game we're going to talk about is Thursday Night Football. Big AFC East matchup. Playoff implications like we were just talking about. We've got the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Buffalo's a 3.5-point favorite in this one. Austin, what's the weather going to be like for this game? Because that's the only thing pausing me from locking up the Bills in this one.
Hang on. I'll get it for you real quick.
Hunter, while he looks up the weather, what are your thoughts on the Patriots in this game?
The Patriots, I think I stated my case on them when we were talking about the playoff picture. Just the strength of schedule. They're a team that can win games when it is either it's a neutral kind of team that they're facing against, somebody that's on their level. They will be outcoached. They will outcoach that other team in that game and get a win. Weird conditions, Chicago. Stuff like that. So if there are weird conditions, that does change some things, but I'm going still with Buffalo because I don't know about that yet.
42 in clear skies.
There we go.
Yeah. Buffalo's winning. I'm locking it in. Give me the Bills.
Also, this is a big time, and I'm with you here, AJ. Big time fade the public type bet. This is not a short week. Belichick is almost undefeated against the spread in short weeks. This is not a short week. Both teams played on Thursday night last week. Or on Thursday last week, so it's a full regular week.
That it is. Great talk on that game. Great discussion. We had everything rolling there. I don't know why I have that one marked still. We're gonna skip it.
Oh, I did it. No, we're not.
All right.
I did that.
I was told that we weren't doing it by the other fan of these teams, but
these teams aren't good. Why are we discussing them?
We're going to dive into the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Green Bay is a 4.5-point favorite going into Soldier Field. Austin, before I let you go on, actually, no, I'll just let you introduce this game because you were the one that wanted to talk this game, so I'll let you lead off.
I don't get why Hunter's grumpy about this game. Green Bay's going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. Like, it's not even going to be close.
Yeah, but why do we care?
Why do we care? Because it's another week of false hope for Packers fans that I get to enjoy before the tears come down.
No, my hope is gone. I had hope last week, going into last week. Now that we have 8 losses, I don't have hope anymore. I feel like that's an average Packers fan take at this point, from what I'm seeing. Are people still holding on to hope from what you're seeing?
I thought you blocked all of Packers Twitter, so I don't know.
I have, so I guess I don't know what those accounts are saying. But my positive Packers fans in my life are not being very positive right now. So
okay.
So the standard Packers media is not what Hunter sees. No, there is still a very much belief that Green Bay has a real shot to make the playoffs here, which they do technically. But this is I wanted to touch on this just because this is the best Bears Packers game like ever. Because it's a total win-win. I want the Bears to lose out. Like, that's my main goal, to get as high as a draft pick as I can. And if somehow Chicago figures out a way to beat Green Bay when they still have a little bit of a smear of hope with the worst roster they've put on the field in the last 25 years, I'm going to be insufferable. Just the worst.
AJ, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you're a fan of a football team, let's just
say any team.
Let's see any team, and your team sucks. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your team is really trying to prove things. They got a new quarterback, new coach.
Let's say new star,
whatever you want to say.
New coach.
They look like they're a team on paper that has hope.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want at some point for them to win a game to prove that?
You know, there's a team that I'm a really big fan of, known as the Chicago Blackhawks. We don't have a young star, but we've got a couple old stars. And there's a guy in the draft coming this year that is the next god of hockey. It's the next Connor McDavid. And I want the Blackhawks to lose every single game for the rest of the season. And I don't care if they lose by 10 in every game. So
why, AJ? Because what type of player wins you championships?
Elite.
Yes. And do you get elite level talent with a middle of the draft pick?
Nope. In every sport.
There it is. That's why
I am a fan of my team winning games. At the end of the day.
Too.
I will always root for my team to
lose.
win. Last week, I remember going into the game, I was like, we have no chance. Well, we have a chance of winning this game. I was not very confident going into the game. And I still, when I sat down, I was like, you know what? I really want my team to win tonight. Like let's get a win. That'd be pretty sick.
Okay.
And it's in our best interest to lose every game at this point, too.
The one thing I'll say for Austin, too, is that some of these games that they've lost haven't even been on fields because they've been random occurrences of special teams costing them the game as well.
Yep.
Their offense has outscored like 3 teams in this stretch.
That reflects bad on your coach, doesn't it?
I don't care if it reflects on the coach because he's a first-year coach. And it's
bottom 3 roster.
Yes.
It is a bottom 3 roster. That's why the special team sucks. Your special team sucks because your depth sucks. It should remind you of other things. But that's why special teams aren't good. That's it. It's not a coach. You can get a new special teams coordinator. That doesn't change a whole lot. There's 2 or 3 really good ones in the NFL that have been around for the last 25 years. Other than that, it's effort and it's depth.
Here, Austin, here's a stat for you of how special teams matters. How many blocked punts and defense or special teams big plays has Notre Dame made this season in college?
Yeah, they blocked 7 punts this year.
And how many starters do they play on special teams?
8.
8 out of 11. That's almost the majority. That is the majority. I don't know why I'm saying it's almost the whole lineup that you send out there. Yep. So when you send out high quality talent or you have talent on the field for special teams, good things happen on special teams. If you have a dumpster fire of a team and no roster and you're sending pretty much just bodies out there to play special teams, that's what happens. I'm with Austin in this scenario, and I think that it's a fugazi little argument that Fields isn't winning these games with this team. It's not Fields' fault.
Another thing, Hunter, you remember on this very podcast, hey, our first throwback moment. When I talked about how it was a great decision by the Philadelphia Eagles to put Nate Sudfeld in the game because the draft pick mattered.
I remember that, yes.
Okay. With that pick, they traded back and acquired an additional first-round pick from the team that would have picked one pick after them in that draft. Miami then used that pick to get Jalen Waddle.
I understand your point. That's not
pick got traded around again and got Alex Leatherwood, who was cut by the Raiders.
You're getting the cart ahead of the horse here, man. You're saying that your team is going to make all the right moves after they do this, and I think that a good fan roots for their team to win.
Correct,
it's
but they're pretty much layup moves. If you get the draft pick wrong, that's one thing, but if you make the moves to get the picks, which I hope the Bears front office has the brains to do, and I'm going to assume they do, because they have something in Justin Fields that if they end up with a top 5 pick, they're probably not going to use that top 5 pick because they've already got a quarterback, and there's teams that will trade up for a quarterback in this year's draft. They can trade back a couple of spots or however many spots and acquire more picks to help their team that is dog poop get better. I hope that's what they do, Hunter. If they are bad and they don't do that, then all three of us will gang up on the Bears on that podcast.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is clearly the best receiver in this draft class.
He's not in this draft class.
He's not going to be going. Well, let's just say hypothetically he was.
It's the other. It's the other
game to do that. No, I don't think they should. Because
it's the other Ohio State receiver, Austin. What's his name?
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah.
No, there is one player in this draft that fundamentally changes how this Bears team plays. Or 1.5. I'll give half credit to the kid at Georgia. Will Anderson at Alabama is a elite pass rusher. Those positions, that is a blue chip position. It is a blue chip prospect. If they figure out a way to hold on to the second pick, what they have right now, you're getting a Myles Garrett level prospect. That doesn't mean he'll become Myles Garrett, but he is looked at the same way Myles Garrett was coming out of the draft. If you're going to give a team that type of team, that turns around to defense almost immediately, right, AJ?
Yeah, it helped the Browns pretty quickly.
You're missing my point. My point is not make the right football move here. Yes, it is a good football move to lose games. I understand that, but you should root for your team to win.
No, I'm rooting for my team to win long term.
Yeah, he's rooting for his team's future success. If
my
that
entire
costs
life,
yeah, if
that got picked between 8 and 22, what the hell has that gotten me? Nothing.
You are scarred.
Lose. Keep losing until you get a high enough draft pick to get a guy that can help you win games. You know how many Vanderbilt and Wisconsin guards we've drafted between 10 and 12 that we're going to fix our offensive line? No, it's not happening. Get a good pick and either trade it to acquire a ton of picks like the Eagles did, or you take a blue chip level talent because that's what it takes to win in the NFL.
With that said, let's move on. Next on the list, we've got the Tennessee Titans at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is a 5.5-point favorite in this matchup. It's not really a big game for either team. I guess the Eagles need to keep winning to keep that 1 seed, and the Titans need to keep winning to keep the AFC South, but I don't think they're really in too much contention there. But nonetheless, this should be a solid matchup, right?
Yeah, it should be. Tennessee loves to keep games close as well.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a game that Philly could just absolutely slaughter them.
I feel like that's every Tennessee game. I feel like every Tennessee game is a game where they could get the doors blown off of them, but because of good coaching, they stay in games.
Like Tennessee tends to keep the games against the high-powered offenses that don't have great defensive lines against them close because they can just grind it out and waste the games. Philly's strength of their team is the trenches.
Yep.
They're better at what Tennessee wants to do, and Tennessee's run defense isn't very good. I don't see how Philadelphia doesn't just wipe the floor with them.
I would lock this up if it wasn't 5.5 points.
I mean, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. I'll move one of my other picks. Give me Philly. I'll lock it up. I talked myself into it.
Yeah, I'm not talking myself into that. Tennessee likes to keep games close. I do think Philly wins this game, though. 5.5's a lot.
I agree with that. I agree with that. If we keep doing the podcast next year because Tom Brady doesn't win the Super Bowl, I'm proposing that we don't guess against the spread, and maybe that'll help our records.
Will definitely help our records.
Yeah, every week I'm just picking against the Lions.
Yeah, I'm not good at the Vegas part of it. I feel like, because I know when the Browns are going to lose, but I don't ever know if the Browns are going to cover a spread.
That's why they said it that way.
Yeah. You're right. I should just bet money lines. That's what we'll call our podcast, is the Money Line Podcast.
I bet that's
Probably
not
already
taken
out there. Yeah, I bet that's not. You're right. Anything else in this game? Because I'm with you, Austin. Tennessee's going to have to work the ground game because, Treylon Burks is coming back from injury and he's starting to kind of get in the rhythm, but he's just one dude and he's a rookie. There's no way that the Tannehill passing game really gets going to beat this Eagles team, who I think also has a very solid secondary. I just don't see Tennessee scoring very many points unless Derrick Henry just has an absolute game.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. But I have enough faith in Philadelphia's D-line to clog up enough holes to where Henry can't be not touched until the 15 yards down the field.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to talk about Philly real quick and how their offense is changing. I said a couple weeks ago that I'm seeing their offense develop more and more, and Jalen Hurts is having to do more and more as a quarterback and less as a runner. So in the past couple weeks, we've seen that kind of flip. It seems last week especially. Remind me who they were playing against last week.
Green Bay.
That's right.
That's why
I blocked that out. That's why I blocked that out.
You're good.
In that game, I saw at the late stretch of that game, whenever they needed a play, it was not Jalen Hurts dropping back to throw. If he was dropping back to throw, it was a fugazi to shout out AJ, just to run the ball. That was all they want to do. All they want to do is run the ball. But I think Jalen Hurts can handle more. We saw it earlier this year. I saw him dropping back and reading defenses, going through 2, 3, 4 reads to make. It was in the middle part of the season there, Austin. Yes, he was. And
statistically one of the worst passers on his second read.
And it's like they started to take that back as they were trying to push him to be better because they know that that's what they need to be to win playoff games. And now they're dialing it back again, and they're like, let's put the train wheels back on. And I don't think that's the right move. They care too much about this record and getting the 1 seed. They should be caring a lot more about their quarterback getting the experience he needs to perform in the playoffs.
First thing to your point, Hunter, that 2 to 4 minute drive that they had to beat Indy was the exact same thing. It was it was 9 straight runs to close out that game, even though everybody thought it was kind of more of a traditional 2 minutes setting. I flipped on Philly a little bit for all of the reasons Hunter hates. I love what they've done. I think that they pushed him to a point that they realized kind of what his limitations are. But it turns out it doesn't matter if the other team knows that they're running because their offensive line is so damn good. And Jalen Hurts is so big and strong.
It's going to matter in the playoffs when they pack that box.
Pack what box? Everyone's packing the box.
Everyone's smashing the box.
It's a different game in the playoffs, man. We all know this. It is.
Tennessee still does it. All these other teams do it. He's competent enough to make a few throws that make them not be able to put 8 in the box. They have A.J. Brown. Quez Watkins is lightning fast. Devontae Smith is a great route runner. And the defense is good. It's not great. It's not as good as we thought it was all going to be, but it's fine. I'm more impressed with them in the last couple of weeks because of them. I take I give our teams a lot of credit for acknowledging what they are and just becoming really good at what they are instead of trying to be what they're not.
So let me ask you guys this. Is Philadelphia a Super Bowl team?
No.
Can they be, or do I think they will be?
Do you think they will be?
Do you,
I think
do
that's
you,
the
yeah,
question.
do you think you will be?
No.
I do. I think they can do it. I like Jalen Hurts.
Well, I think they
that
can
offense,
do it. I don't think they will.
I think they'll get there.
I don't think they will be, and it's funny. We all think that they will or they won't for different reasons. I think they won't because they're trying to dial it back. They're not pushing him anymore, and Austin thinks the opposite. Funny. AJ, what's your reason why they are?
Because of everyone else that's in the NFC. The number 2 seed is the Vikings, and we know they're going to trip over themselves / Kirk Cousins.
Who's the 3 seed?
I don't know. Remind me.
San Francisco.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G versus Jalen Hurts. Give me Kyle Shanahan over Nick Sirianni.
I like that. Would be an awesome. If that's the NFC Championship game, I would be locked in, and I hope that's what it is.
I think that's what it will be. I do.
So you think it'll be a? Do you think not to go too early into it, but do you think it's a Mahomes versus Garoppolo rematch of the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay. So you think someone else is going to get in from the AFC? All right.
Yeah.
Hunter, what about you? Just quickly on your thoughts on that question.
I agree with you. Actually, it's going to be a Garoppolo Mahomes Super Bowl.
So we'll see Mahomes win another one all because he had bronze this week. Shout out Lil Bronze. 3.
LeBron?
No, Lil Bronze. LIL space bronze. For those of you that don't know, Patrick Mahomes had his first son. In the picture, it's just his lower half in a onesie. So, I don't know.
Is his son's name Bronze?
His son's name is Patrick, but he's already nicknamed him Bronze.
He's Patrick Mahomes the third, but I think he's bronze because Patrick's 2. So if you're going first, second, third, I'm assuming that's where the bronze comes from.
Why don't we just name kids their actual names?
That was the first way I thought about it. That's why I liked it. I don't hate it.
So name him Bronze.
I like it more that way. That is more creative.
Yeah. No,
I thought he was just giving his kid a nickname before.
No. Yeah, that would just be really random and not make a whole lot of sense. But third being bronze, I think that's where he gets it. I like it. It's clever. It's the only thing about Mahomes that I like. Moving on. Just kidding. Hunter, though, I do want to, before we move on to the next game, I wanted to ask you, while we were talking Packers, Bears, and we don't have to hit on it too long, but I wanted to know your thoughts on Jordan Love.
I mean, he looked sharp in 2 minutes of action, and then he missed a couple throws. Who cares?
He played the whole last 10 minutes, basically.
I'm exaggerating. You know what I mean. He did not look. He looked good there coming out the gates, and then he missed a couple throws. People are over exaggerating it. I want Rodgers back there at quarterback until we are mathematically eliminated, even though I've given up hope.
Okay. I meant more as a future, not as is this a competition? I don't mean it that way because I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as Aaron Rodgers is in the NFL and on the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love is not starting over him, and there's not a trade conversation or blah blah blah. I'm with you in that.
I'm so gonna.
I just wanted to know what you thought about his performance coming off the bench with no warm up and saying, "Hey, you're in, kid."
I thought his performance was good, but I still will side with the 3 years of evidence now that I have that he's not good. So we'll see.
I thought he looked solid, and Carly made a comment that he looked comfortable in that offense and being in that offense for as long as. I hope so.
He's taken 4 years.
I agree, but I think that she's right that there was something to it, that he didn't look like a dumpster fire. I'm not saying that they bred another MVP while sitting behind another quarterback. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to be the end of the world like a lot of other people think. Do I think he's going to be great and an MVP? No. But could he change my mind? Of course he could.
He could change my mind too. I just will not be making my decisions based off of the last 10 minutes of action.
And I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying I thought he looked like he flashed a little something that should give Packers fans a little bit of confidence in him going forward. Not much, but something to say, oh, maybe. Moving on. Next on the list, we've got the Miami Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco's a 4-point favorite at home in this one. We've got the protege going against his former employer in this game. You guys like Mike McDaniels or
love him?
Yeah, I've seen 2 TikTok videos, so I'm sold.
Yeah, everything I see about this guy, including the TikTok videos, this guy just seems like a really chill dude that is not like any other NFL coach before him. Do you agree, Austin? You're kind of not.
I think he's got not necessarily that, but I think he's got the 2 things that are hard to find in an NFL coach. And it seems to be that he really knows the X's and O's. And he also gets people. I don't know if you guys saw the clip from Tua about him making sure he believes in him, but that's the type of stuff that really good coaches do.
Yeah.
That can get their players to buy in, to get their players to know that they believe in them. And that will allow them to become the best players they can be. So,
yeah. If Dan Campbell could design an offense that's incredible and run everything perfectly, because he's got the Dan Campbell side of knows how to talk to guys and knows like actually truly cares about his players.
Yeah.
But he also has a brain when it comes to designing an offense and everything. I think he could be a really special coach. And I think it's funny. Go ahead.
If Dan Campbell and Josh McDaniels became one person, they would be Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
Is that no? What? I'm
I think he's making fun of me for getting the wrong name.
My brain just exploded.
If Dan Campbell and Josh McDaniels merged into one person, you would get Mike McDaniel. If you got Josh McDaniels offensive, if you got Josh McDaniels offensive mind and Dan Campbell's human abilities, you would get what Miami already has in Mike McDaniel.
Human
or
abilities.
Austin, if Mike McDaniel just sat on top of Dan Quinn's shoulders and they formed a mega person. I think if they coached a team like that, and they put a big trench coat on.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'm talking about Hunter. What was his name? From BoJack.
What was his name?
He did his job at the business place.
Oh, no, yeah, he worked in stock markets and he did a business.
Yeah.
What is his name? Vincent Adultman.
Yes, that was his name. You know that's just 2 guys in a trench coat standing on top of each other's shoulders.
He gets my feelings. I had originally locked up this game. I had originally put up San Francisco as a lock, but the more and more I think about it, man, I think that Miami's a better team than they are. I do. Even though we just talked about San Francisco being the favorite for us out of the NFC, I just think the AFC is that much stronger, and I think this Dolphins team is legit.
What I'm worried about right now with San Francisco is the running back room. Mitchell's a little banged up. Apparently, McCaffrey's got a little bit of a knee issue, so they've kind of been limiting him. And it's like, man, if you take away McCaffrey, they become the same Niners that they have been, which is a little bit more Jimmy G dependent than if McCaffrey's not in there. And I just don't. I think Miami's really good, but Niners have the edge on the defensive side. I think this will probably be the best game of the weekend, but I don't know. I'm not touching this one when it comes to the locks.
Are we waiting
Austin,
on
any
Austin
thoughts?
to talk?
I don't know.
Or me?
He's just over there like,
I'm typing.
Like, oh, okay.
I'm typing.
Okay.
You guys both just talked me into it in different ways. I am going to lock up San Francisco here. Hunter, I thought you had the right pick to start with. This is a first-year head coach that's making his first trip all the way across the country. This is a head coach that he is facing that knows most of his tendencies, and obviously there will be new wrinkles and stuff, but it's a very similar offense in which DeMeco Ryans, San Francisco's defensive coordinator, faced every single day of training camp. He knows how to attack an offense like theirs. That's what he has done, or what he did for 2-3 months at a time. Mike McDaniel, it's a heck of a long of a travel, and they have a really good defense. And I'm going to continue to lean on San Francisco's defense until they prove me otherwise. If they can get some pass rush, which they should be able to, make them play it underneath and I think they figure out a way to win here by at least 4.
All right. Austin signing himself up for the lock. Hunter, any thoughts?
Yeah, you're ridiculous to lock that up. There's way better games to lock up over here.
Calling him the R word, ridiculous, dude.
Mm-hmm. He gets a pair of glasses on for an episode, and he suddenly thinks that he can make picks like us. AJ, he's not on our level.
His glasses are on every couple episodes. It's just not consistent.
Yeah.
It's when you know that he's really dialed in, is when he's got the glasses on. And look, he's shaved and he looks like he's fresh off of getting a state championship ring.
Show that bling.
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
Are you going to get it on a chain?
No. No, it'll sit in a box in my room.
Well, that's cool too. For the listeners that don't know, Austin won state as a high school coach.
Nobody cares.
He played and he coached at the same time. He's basically the Jackie Moon of the game. With that being said, we're going to move on. Kansas City at Cincinnati. Kansas City is a 2-point favorite. This is an afternoon game. Why couldn't this game, or actually I'd rather the Miami-San Francisco game get moved to Sunday night, because instead Sunday night's Indianapolis and Dallas, which I'll just throw up in a bag instead of watch that game. But Kansas City and Cincinnati, Kansas City is a 2-point favorite. Rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, and we think that this is probably going to have some nodes to what's going to take place in the playoffs or what's going to go on with Cincinnati's end of the season. Austin, you think that Cincinnati's starting to mimic how they played last year this time? How do you see this game going? Do you think that Cincinnati will walk away with the dub? I know you're not locking it up, but I want to hear your thoughts.
No, I think this is the first chance since Buffalo for Kansas City to flex their muscles. And
Okay.
I think they will.
I agree with that.
That's typically what this Kansas City team does if they happen to lose a game, especially a nationally televised game. Next time they get to come out and really stick it to somebody that's a legit threat. I know they played the Chargers a couple weeks ago, but not somebody I view as a threat. This is a legit playoff contender that, gave them some trouble, beat them last year.
Beat them, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a revenge game, and it's one of those games where you think they're going to step up.
Yep. So, yeah, I really like Kansas City here. I think they take care of business pretty easily.
I agree with you.
Can I give an asterisk if Cincinnati comes out and they're all whites? I'd like to change everything that I just said.
So to me, Austin, I don't think it matters if they show up, because it's not a primetime game. If it was a primetime game and they're playing under the lights and they're in the all whites, very, very different. And I would agree with you. And I wouldn't lock up Kansas City. But I'm locking up Kansas City in this one for all the reasons you said. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to come out with his head on fire after little baby bronze. And because it's a big game. I do think it's a bigger game than it looks like on the schedule, even with Cincinnati's record. I think that Kansas City is going to come out and take this seriously, and it'll be a playoff-like atmosphere.
They will take it seriously. They took it seriously in the playoffs last year as well, and they lost. Yeah. This is a team that matches up very well against them, I think. I'm not going to pick them as a lock in any way. I expect Kansas City to win this game by more than 2, but I'm not going to be betting on it. I'm not going to be picking against it because, man, we saw it last year.
Yeah, but no Jamar Chase.
No Jamar Chase is a big deal.
Not true.
Jamar Chase expected to play this week.
Yeah, but from Joe Burrow.
No. This is from Cincinnati. He is expected to play this week.
We'll see. First game back,
21 points.
First game in
when
fantasy.
I see Jamar Chase is probable for a week, I see it like I see a Keenan Allen injury report. Like I'm like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
I wouldn't put that tag on him.
Too much, too far.
Yeah, because Keenan Allen's too frequent. That's in every year of Keenan Allen's life.
Keenan Allen gets a hangnail. He's out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Brian
but
Robinson
it's a
got
hangnail
shot
on his
and
hamstring.
he came back quicker than Keenan Allen's hamstring did.
I love bringing up that stat. That's such a great one.
But yeah, I still think even with Jamar Chase back, Austin, I don't think that he's going to be in the flow of things because he's been out for so long. I still give the edge to Kansas City.
I'm not worried about flow when they played together in college. That's a long-term, relationship that they've got.
Oh, I'm not talking about quarterback to receiver. I'm talking about just running and playing football after not playing football for weeks.
That's fair.
That's all he's got for me. That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's fair.
That pretty much wraps up our previews. Let's talk about some locks. Austin, see, this is like the first time in like 3 shows that you guys didn't just interrupt me and let me do my job. But Austin, show me your locks. Tell me your locks.
Already hit on 2 of them. Philadelphia -5.5 against Tennessee. San Francisco -4 at home. Last one, I'm going to take Washington on the road.
Ooh. 2.5 point favorites in New York.
I've been out on the Giants for a while. I've been the most hater of them. And this is just kind of putting the nail in the coffin here. Chase Young expected to be back. I think they take care of business. It's weird to say, but I do trust Taylor Heineke more than I trust Daniel Jones.
My reason I'm not as bullish on the Giants as I was earlier in the season is Saquon is hurt, and it's very, very obvious. His play has been totally different since it was a shoulder injury, wasn't it? Since the shoulder.
Yeah, they tried to treat him like Larry Johnson and gave him 30 freaking carries a game and expected him not to get hurt when he's already super hurt.
You're not Josh Jacobs, bro. I'm sorry.
You're not Josh Jacobs.
Speaking of injury-prone running backs.
He's not allowed to get injured. He's in his contract year. He's going to run it if he's got a broken leg.
Man, Saquon should be in his contract year.
Is he?
Oh, wait. Yes.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Hunter, yeah, because they're the same draft. Hunter, let's hear your locks.
I got the Chargers over the Las Vegas Raiders. I already talked about Chargers earlier this year. Just strength of schedule us away, and the Raiders are just abysmal. They're terrible. The Chargers can absolutely screw me over on this one, but 1.5, I'll take the risk. Tampa Bay at home against New Orleans as well. Tampa Bay is going to roll to a division title here, and that starts this week. They've looked very good the past couple weeks here since Tom Brady got divorced. And Minnesota
2-0.
Minnesota against the Jets. We got a noon game here. Kirk Cousins going against a crap team that is starting probably Mike White again, I'd assume at this point. I don't know how they could not. And he played out of his mind last week, and that's not going to happen.
He just played simple quarterback.
I know.
He played out of his mind against the Bears defense that had nobody playing.
So I have a quick theory about this.
Which is funny.
Does everyone hate Zach Wilson on the Jets?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone.
And I mean everyone. Coaching staff, front office, everyone.
Everyone. I think he banged all their moms. That's why.
If you wanted your, franchise guy to rebound, that is the perfect team to do it against. And they were like, nah, let's give Mike White a shot. I mean, anybody could have performed against that Bears defense.
Yeah.
I think they're missing 7 starters from opening week. And they weren't good opening week.
Yeah.
A couple of them aren't even on the team anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to take... I don't need to do this right now, but I'm going to. When I evaluate quarterbacks, whenever we did our draft, comparison of players and everything a couple years ago, I was very, very bullish on Zach Wilson, and that was very misguided. But
yeah, see, I kind of want a formal apology from both of you right now because I think it was the last time we did a podcast, I was the one sitting here saying Zach Wilson was bad. And since then, you both have been like, yeah, no, he's bad. Even though at that time you said he was good.
Here's the thing, man, that really I struggle with is that when you look at a quarterback and you evaluate him, you see all this talent, all the physical talents there. He can make all the plays, all the throws. He can extend outside the pocket. He just chooses not to every single week because
he just doesn't have the mental part.
And that's hard to evaluate because we don't know him. When we watch him play in college, he looks awesome. An offense that is completely designed to make him look awesome. And it's hard to evaluate that side of things. We can only really evaluate the physical talent because we're not there doing one-on-one interviews with the guy, throwing a playbook at him or anything like that.
Yeah, we can't, but they can.
They can.
Can you
So cut
imagine
me
how
some
good
slack,
the Jets
bro.
would be with Justin Fields as quarterback?
Yeah, they'd be really good. And
Probably
if
would
Breece Hall
be.
didn't get hurt,
Would they be trying to win games?
Well, considering that they have a winning record, probably yes. That's kind of how it
Just wanted
works.
to tie it back to
and
that real
and
quick.
because a lot of their team is really good. That defense is
Do you
a
think
very
their
good
fans
defense.
would be rooting for them to win if they had? I probably. Anyways,
I
Possibly.
think you think that I'm the majority of Bears fans, and I'm absolutely not.
Yeah, he's not.
yeah, you're
All
not.
of them every week are going, where are we going for it on fourth down here? Why aren't we doing this? Simple. It's
You
very
play to
simple.
lose the game.
All
All right, on to my picks. I took Buffalo over New England. I took Kansas City over Cincinnati. And the last one I'm taking the team of ATL. I'm taking the Detroit Lions over Jacksonville, who's favored by 1 point. I just think the Lions will get a dub in this one at home. So I feel like that's pretty easy. Sure, it's 50-50, but like I said, I feel like I'm pretty decent at picking teams who are going to win the game. I think the Lions are going to win this game, and that's all I got to figure out.
You should just only pick underdogs.
Yeah, but I don't think underdogs are often
Just
going to win.
home underdogs.
Or every time, at least.
Home underdogs.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to take a class on it or something.
Underdogs have actually won this year like 65% of the time or something like that, right, Austin?
Against the spread, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt. Hunter, what'd you think about ESB? The little astronaut man.
they need to add an L to the end because not my favorite.
If they had this if this was in my fridge, Hunter, I would grab it.
You would. Man.
I would.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. I drank the whole thing.
Just another week of us disagreeing on our beer tastes. Some things never change.
I don't know what it was, but I really enjoyed that beer.
I think that's the first pro AJ anti-Hunter, though. It normally goes the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
thought it was a quality beer.
That says a lot more about my palate, though, than his. His is much more exquisite.
Says the guy that likes the sours.
I do like the sours.
Yeah. But no, that was good. Kudos to you, Perennial Artisan Ales. I liked your beer.
Oh,
and with that, he is gone. Let's go. I get to sign off the podcast for the first time in my life. Austin, you have anything you want to say?
No, dude, I'm just kind of perfect timing. Just when you're starting to get tired of him talking, he just fades away into the existence.
And it's great. We're about to fade away into the existence as well. Appreciate you guys listening every week, for real. Take it easy, guys.